What's going on, guys? Luke here with Wilson Auto Detailing, and I'm in the detail garage here taking a quick break because I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind for really the last 3 years, and something that I've actually been talking about on the YouTube channel probably for about 3 years straight. So if you go back and you look at the videos from 3-4 years ago, you're gonna hear these terms come up. But there's one thing that I've found in the detailing world that holds people back from growing more than anything else, and it's what I term the detailer's ego. And the detailer's ego is something that is very easy to find. It's very prevalent online. In fact, it's even prevalent in your own maybe detailing circles in your city that you detail in. And the detailer's ego is nothing more than this idea that detailing is a one way of doing things, very slim perspective. You've got to do it this way to perfection every single time. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to build a detailing business because you're not a real detailer, you're a hack, you're a whatever. And that is something that is unbelievably, let's say, pervasive in the detailing world today. And it's probably getting worse, not for everybody, but in a lot of ways for beginners, because they're looking online to get answers and they run into not only 1,000 different opinions, but also this idea that if they don't do it this way, they're not doing it right, and they might not actually have the means to even do it that way, or they might find that there's a better way to do it because they're actually detailing on a daily basis in the mud, in the trenches, trying things and figuring it out, and it doesn't necessarily line up with what they're finding online. And so I wanted to highlight a couple areas where I think the detailer's ego kind of rears its ugly head. One of those areas is going to be paint correction, and this might be one of the biggest areas. So you guys can go back, let's say 2-3 years on the YouTube channel here, and you'll find that there are certain clients that I had where I was doing some paint correction, where I was doing what I called paint enhancement, or a one-step, or just getting rid of those surface level defects before I applied a very easy to apply something like ceramic coating or even spray ceramic coating. And what you inevitably find is certain people will say, oh my gosh, how can you only just do a one step or only just address the surface levels, and you're not even applying a real ceramic, you're applying a spray ceramic, and it's not going to last a whole year even, and then you're going to have corrected paint that's not protected in 6 months, and blah 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 blah. And a lot of that stuff comes from, again, that detailer's ego of, if we're going to do paint correction, we have to do it perfectly. If we're going to apply a ceramic, it has to be the 7-year, 10-year lifetime warranty ceramic. And the fact of it is, when you are actually running a professional detailing business, when you are actually in the trenches day to day dealing with real people in person, real cars in person, you quickly find that that kind of information is not only not realistic, it's also not information you will find from people actually running a detailing business, because it just doesn't correspond to reality. And to live that way in your detailing business in a lot of ways is to just kind of fail, because it won't work long term. And so even now today, the guys I get to train not only online but also in person, when we walk through paint correction, the underlying philosophy that girds everything is always clear coat is paint protection, and we want to leave as much clear coat on the paint as possible. And my job as a paint correction specialist in the moment is not to actually remove the clear coat, but it's to achieve what the customer wants with the least amount of clear coat being removed from the paint in order to finish with whatever finisher we're using, whether that be a ceramic or something else. And that's not a philosophy that you're necessarily going to find online trying to perfect paint. And so you see that detailer's ego rear its head in that paint correction world when you're trying to find opinions there. Another place where the detailer's ego really rears its head is whether you're a mobile detailer or a stationary detailer. If you're a stationary detailer, you have to have a nice built-out garage with unbelievable lights and all of those things. If you're a mobile detailer, you have to have the nicest Astro van. It has to have big decals on it. You've got to have organized shelves, a big gravity-fed water tank, whatever it is. All of those things are amazing. In fact, we're building a garage right now. It's going to be a paint correction ceramic coating studio. We're putting amazing lights in it, and certainly it's more expensive than the average garage probably. But that, of course, is not something that came in the beginning. And if I would have let that be something that really stumbled or hindered me, it would have been a really not only frustrating ride, but probably would have been a ride that I gave up on a long time ago. And so for you guys who are starting out, just understand that in the detailing world, you know, there's not this kind of big brother temple that's handing down the rules, handing down what you have to do. That's not the way it works. It's not some sort of regulated industry where you can't say or can say something, or can't do or can do something. In a lot of ways, it's what is working for you in the moment with the specific type of detailing business you're building, because there's not just one type of detailing business. And so even starting out of something like a Mazda Miata 2-seater little sports car, like I did when I was driving at 16 and actually 15 illegally around different neighborhoods that I was close to, that is something that can actually work really, really well for those of you who are starting out, not letting that detailer's ego or feeling of maybe like insufficiency or not being good enough actually hinder you from deciding to develop the business. In addition to garage, vans, and paint correction, another place where the detailer's ego comes up all the time is the ceramic coating world. And in a lot of ways, where it comes from is, or what they say is, you either are going to use the 5-year, 7-year, 10-year ceramic coating, or you're not going to use any ceramic coating at all because they're just cheap and it's going to fall apart, and it's so easy to apply that it has no longevity or durability to it anyways. And this is yet again another area where I would say, well, one of the questions that's not being considered here is, what does the customer want? Another question that's not being considered here is, what are they paying for, and what are you applying based on the time that you're putting into it, the type of labor you're putting into it? Are you actually being compensated to apply that which you are talking about? Another question that's not being compensated for is the skill of the detailer. Maybe the detailer isn't actually offering the 5-year, 7-year, 10-year ceramic coating. Maybe they're offering the 6 month to a year ceramic coating because they're just trying to get their feet wet in ceramic coatings, and they feel a little insecure because they haven't been to a certification or a training, and so they feel like they don't know what they're doing. And while of course there's nothing wrong with certifications or trainings, I'm all about things just like that. In a lot of ways, once again, the detailer's ego makes things feel like they're more difficult than they are. And I've talked to detailers on a daily basis for the last 5 years now, and all of them tell me the exact same thing. I used to think this was really hard, and when I actually started doing it and got a little confidence, I look back and realize, wow, I was making a really big deal out of something that actually wasn't difficult. It wasn't hard to acquire the technical skill. I was just getting in my own head and letting the detailer's ego get in my head as well. And I've just found that a lot of detailers almost need the permission in order to move forward in their business or move forward with a specific idea they have from somebody else in the world who can just say, hey, I'm in the detailing world too. I felt exactly what you're feeling. Yes, people talk about things like they're the most complicated thing in the world, as if you have to go to like med school and do, your 2-year residency and then your fellowship and become some sort of brain surgeon in order to be a detailer. And while yes, there are certain things that require more skill, there are certain things that require less skill, there are certain things that require a lot more hands-on practice, there are things that require a lot less hands-on practice. All of that is true. In general, that detailer's ego stems a lot from just a lot of opinions, overcomplicating things, and it makes the detailer freeze up. And what I want to do today is just say, listen, if you feel like that, you're not alone. That is absolutely one of the most common things I've found. I felt it in my own life as well, and it's actually okay to move forward in your business in a less traditional or conventional way that people normally do it in the detailing business, and to see what comes out on the other side of that. In fact, I would say that actually might be even more welcome nowadays, because when people get stuck in the groove and stuck in the rut of doing it the same way every single time, all the time, and that detailer's ego develops, a lot of time it stifles creativity and stifles new things that could be introduced. So if you resonate with anything I've said here, just let me know below in the comments, just to say, hey, you're not alone. Absolutely, I felt that too. And hopefully this video maybe gave you a little bit of permission to just take a step out in a less traditional way in your detailing business and see what comes out the other side. All right, guys, I will get off my soapbox and get back to detailing today. But while I was here, I was just thinking to myself, I wish I would have had somebody just kind of give me permission maybe 10 years ago when I was just a young kid and I was trying to figure things out. It would have been really helpful. So comment below and like this video if you resonate with this. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I will see you guys in the next video.